Joining me is former Hereford United player David Titterton. You joined the club September 1991 from Coventry. Was it the John Sillett factor that made you decide to come to Edgar Street?
Oh, without a doubt. I had a contract still at Coventry, so I was in no rush to move, so to speak. Terry Butcher had just taken over, and I was just recovering from a cartilage operation. And John Sillett rang me and said, look, I'm down at Hereford, do you want to come down and have a look around and see what it was? And, I had, quite a few relations down in the Hereford and Risbury area, Leominster area. So I had, a connection with the area already. And it was that case of that phone call, and I thought, right, I'll go and have a look and see what there is.
How did you find the standard from Division 1 to Division 4?
It was a bit of a culture shock to start with. It's one of those things where you turned up and, you back to washing your kids and doing all those bits and pieces, which I wasn't expecting, little things like that. And at that particular time when I did join, we were actually flying, It was the first few games of the season and, the crowds were buzzing and, had a bit of momentum with the team, so things sort of took its place, but it was a bit of a culture shock. But just one of those decisions I had to make.
I spoke to a number of players about this because we started the season so well. We were top of the league September, but then it fell away. Why do you think that was?
I couldn't put my finger on it really, because obviously I was new to the club and I knew to a lot of the lads and I was new to the division. I joined really with the prospect of, looking to, get promotion that year. Really, that was our main aim with John. Really, is to get promotion. That's one of the main draws of me coming down there was, coming from a first division club. Still another year or so on my contract. I just couldn't put my finger on it. We lost a bit of momentum. We had a few injuries. Players lost a bit of form. But there wasn't one culminating factor that I thought, made us go on that sort of, bad run, so to speak.
John Sillett left as manager and then Greg Downs took over. How did you get on with Greg?
On a personal level, really, Greg, I sort of took over from Greg at Coventry. Greg was in the first team when I was the left back then, playing for England under 18s and regular in the reserves, and earmarked to take over Greg's position, which I did. And then obviously Greg moved on to different areas. It was never going to be an easy decision with how me and Greg got on, to be honest. It was a bit of a personal thing. But at the end of the day, he was still, my manager, and I had to accept that and do what he did.
You're one of the 4 players that were sent off in the infamous game against Northampton. What are your memories of that Sunday afternoon?
Oh, it's farcical. Just an unbelievable afternoon. To get, the sending off. I think we got behind with a penalty, didn't we? And then Brady scored a great move, volleyed it in. The crowd ran on the pitch to me, it was just one of those unbelievable afternoons where you look back and you see the people now and, they're dressed in all their clothes and the music and all that sort of stuff before the game, and then the actual game, I thought, crikey, then I kicked the ball away and got sent off, 2 others, one bad tackle, and then Topple went, and then Lee Jones, I think he was. And obviously, the gaffer himself, Greg. And then, I'm not sure if you're aware, but I actually got arrested after the game. So I got arrested for inciting the crowd, which at Northampton was quite easy to do because there's no barriers to stop the running on the pitch. So it was a bit of an unbelievable afternoon, and it's still spoke about now, and obviously as we are now, speaking about it again.
You had a number of sending-offs during your time at Hereford. How did you try and calm yourself down?
I always I had and played on the edge. That's how I played. I was a wholehearted player. I trained like that. I played like that, and sometimes, unfortunately, I missed the odd tackle or whatever the case may be, and got myself into trouble. I think it's just down to youth and enthusiasm, and that sometimes I didn't control, and sometimes I did, and I just had to learn as I got older to curb that over enthusiasm, and bide my time and pick my tackles a little bit more. But that's the way I got myself up for the games. I was a tough tackling, a wholehearted player that gave everything, and I think that's what every club I played for would never disagree with. It's just one of those learning curves as a young lad, I think.
You left Hereford and joined Wycombe. The start of the following season, Hereford played Wycombe and Wycombe won 4-3. What was it like returning to Edgar Street as an opposition player so early?
There's a couple of things I really want to set straight, really, is that I never ever wanted to leave Hereford. It was never my intention to leave Hereford. During the season, when I got sent off a couple of times, they put me on the transfer list, and there was 5 or 6 teams that come in for me. Each one that I turned down, I wasn't interested. I didn't want to leave. I bought a house in Leicester. I was married at the time, and I was settled down there. I had family and friends down there. My uncle and auntie had places down there, a few other cousins and stuff. So I never wanted to leave Hereford, and it was. I turned down Wycombe during the season. I think they offered 20 or 30 grand, but I went down there to have a chat with them out of courtesy with Martin and Neil, and actually, turned around and said, now I want to, stay at Hereford and, fight for my place and get back in. But unfortunately, Greg made that decision that he was going to release me, which was a bit of a blow, really. And then, obviously, when we come back, it was one of those crazy times because I had 20 or 30 of my family in the crowd, and Greg had said a few things in the press about me prior to that. So it was strange, really, because I felt a real bond with the Hereford people and with the Hereford crowd, and I think they did with me, really. To be honest, I think they liked my wholehearted approach to the game. That's what they expected, and that's what I gave them. But that game I remember it's a night game, and Terry Evans, one of my good friends, I think he scored the win at the end. I think I had to make it 4-3.
And are you still involved in football now?
I do have been involved with football. When I stopped playing, I went as player manager with Cliflow, and that towards the end. I managed Apple Swifts for a few seasons, the Dr. Martins League, which I really enjoyed. But I had a very successful business and a young family, I had twin boys. And one of my boys is actually in the academy now, at Kidderminster Harriers, and the other one that I coach, his twin brother at Ombersley. So I still help out and involved with youth football, and will continue to do so until such time my legs tell me no.
And you're good mates with Pete Beadle as well?
Yep, known Mr. Beadle for quite some time. Through non-league, really, it was primarily with Team Bath and Yate and clubs it was, and we played against them, and we got on really well. And I played against him when he was at Team Bath as well. But it took me a while to get around him because him and me were both getting a little bit large at that time. And just carried on the friendship now. We speak every now and again, and we spoke about a few players a few months ago and bits and pieces, and they ask me now and again, and we just haven't had a chance to catch up with him, come down and watch a game.